So the Jags just made a unique move. You know, we love having Jags videos here on Sports Talk Extra. Hey, if you haven't yet joined the channel, please consider doing that. Whether you're a Jags fan or another NFL fan, we love the NFL and the small media market teams. So please join the channel. And we want to talk about the Jags' most recent signing as of yesterday, something like that. Maybe 2 days ago, but I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. They came to an agreement to re-sign defensive lineman Dwayne Smoot. Now, if you don't know who this guy is, if you're not a Jags fan, maybe you don't know who he is. He was your second most productive pass rusher last year, and this is a good signing, but it comes with a very unique thing. I believe it was week 16. I think it was week 16 against the Jets, maybe. Smoot tore his Achilles. Now they kept saying Achilles injury. He tore the thing. And he's not a small man at defensive end. So it's one of those things that you have to ask yourself, how long is it going to take for him to get back? He's 6'3", 264, and we will answer that in this video. But first, we need to talk about who Dwayne Smoot is and what he brings back to this team. For starters, he is a pass rusher. That's what he is. He was low on tackles. I mean, he had 10 tackles. He had 10 solo tackles last year, and he had 4 assisted tackles. And he only, but he did pull off 6 sacks. So that was actually really impressive. He pulled off 6 different sacks. So he did not play a ton. He played 300 rush snaps and only 130 defensive snaps. So he is a pass rushing specialist that they're bringing in there, and he does it with a pretty good grade of a 73.4. So what are some of the terms of this deal? They're bringing him back on a deal which has a max value of $6.25 million, 3.25 in guarantees. Here's what that tells us. Jacksonville fully expects this guy to play. They fully expect him to play. And I was just absolutely kind of blown away at this. I was reading an article here on SI, and I'll try and pull it up on my screen here for all of you. I have a lot of different ones up, so I want to make sure that I pull up the right one. So here you go. And it's going to talk, we're going to see what's going on here. Where it talks about Smoot's return to the field is ultimately still several months away and is something that nobody can put a true timetable on. But according to a source with knowledge of the situation, the expectation is for Smoot to return sometime in October. Now, this would be about 10 months after he tore his Achilles. He tore it in December of last year. So they're saying maybe it's the October 15 game, maybe it's the October 19 game, or even October 29th in week 8. So, I mean, you're looking at a guy who, if he can come back at the right time, you're looking at a guy that's going to play half the season. He's still going to play half the season. That's important. Like, that's a big deal. So maybe you're getting a guy that can come in and be a good pass rushing specialist. And the question you have to ask yourself is, do you need a pass rushing specialist? And the answer to that is ultimately, yeah, you kind of do. Like you kind of, you don't absolutely need to, but I think it's important. So you had Allen last year, he had 6 sacks. He was probably your best edge. Josh Allen was, and I think everybody knows that. That's a Jacksonville fan. He has been pretty solid and just gotten better every single year that he's played for the Jags over the last 4 years. You have K'Lavon Chaisson. He's your other player that might be able to give you a little something, but he only had 1 sack last year, just 1. So really what you're looking at is you're looking at a team that does not, quite frankly, have a lot of depth when it comes to rushing the passer. Just not a ton. What about Trayvon Walker? Dude did not grade out well last year. The number 1 overall pick. All right, let's just look at some of the things. He had 4 sacks. He played 421 pass rush snaps, and he came away with 4 sacks. He had on PFF, he had an overall grade of 60, run defense of 60, pass rush grade of 59. So they need to see a lot more out of him. So what does this all sign when you're saying Dwayne Smoot? What does it look like? Here's the hope. Here's the hope that he comes back halfway through the season, but Allen and Walker have already entrenched themselves as by far the best players and Rodgers on this team. That they have shown like, nope, we got this. We'll be fine. We're going to be good. And then Smoot comes back and he's able to play just in pass rushing situations, very similar to what he did last year. And your hope, honestly, is that he almost doesn't have to. So this is, I think, kind of a key signing because there's not a lot of depth at the defensive end position. I mean, there's just not. I mean, you have Fatakasi, you have Roy Robertson Harris, but he's more of an interior line guy. There's just a bunch of kind of no names back here on this side. You have some linebackers. You have Olukin, but he's a linebacker. So it's just very, very interesting that you would be re-signing him. Hopefully it's just insurance and you have some of the young guys that are going to get better. So anyways, I just wanted to put that video out there. I thought this was a key but unique signing because you're re-signing a guy on a 1-year deal when quite frankly, he's probably not going to play very much in that year because of the Achilles injury, but nobody would know better than the Jaguars. They're the ones that are able to see him. They're the ones that are able to get him in for a workout. In fact, he was supposed to have a workout with the Ravens, but the Jags were able to get him signed before he ever stepped foot in the Baltimore facility. So that's good. The torn Achilles is not what it used to be. Players are coming back from it left and right. Seems like more people are tearing Achilles than they were before, but players are coming back and they're usually back within a year. For the Detroit Lions, you see the line back there. That's our other page, our other channel, Sports Talk Detroit. We had Romeo Okwara who tore his Achilles. It took him a little longer than a year, but he did come back last year. I think he tore it in October, November, and he came back in October, November. You had a smaller guy, Jeff Okudah, who tore it in September, and he came back by training camp. Tracy Walker tore his Achilles, and it looks like he's going to be back by training camp. So a lot of Achilles tears over in the Detroit world, but it's made me a slight expert on Achilles tears. So it would not be a huge shock to see him back by November. I would be surprised by October. But if he's back by October, November, then he could be a good contributor to this team. All right, hope you liked the video. Comment on it. What do you think? When's he going to be back? Are you glad you brought him back? He's a good locker room guy. And hey, hit that subscribe button, especially if you watched all the way through the 8-minute mark. Come on now. All right, we'll see you on the next.